guys were around during our Airstream renovation, we have finally gotten around to making our Airstream tour. We spent the last 12 months renovating this 1973 Airstream. In August, we moved into it full time and we've been traveling ever since in it. Now we're gonna give you guys a quick tour of all the ins and outs of our entire build. Come along and I'll walk you through our Airstream. We're going to start the beginning of the Airstream tour in the front of the Airstream in the living room. So we wanted to do a big U couch. This is the front of the Airstream and we're thinking about doing like a big wraparound couch with a table here and a pendant lamp. But with the layout that we did, we could only fit a small J couch is what we call it. We also decided not to have back cushions for the couch. That was purely a cost-saving decision. We wanted to just have something quick and easy, so we did a bunch of throw pillows. In our last RV build, we had a center table mount, which was mounted to the floor. In this one, we didn't have that kind of space with the way that the fridge opens out this way. So we decided to go with a Lagoon USA table leg and mount, which allows the table to move all different directions. So it can be a desk over here for one person, like this, or it can be an eating nook for two people, and Tommy would sit over here. And we do have two different positions that this leg can go on, so it can be here, or it can be put on this mount, which we said was more part of the kitchen, so you could like make it an island if you needed more counter space to cut on in the kitchen. One of the best parts about this table leg is it does come all the way out, so if we want to take the table and the leg off, we can store it in this bin and it's just out of the way. The couch takes up the majority of the front of the Airstream, so we also utilize that as storage, but instead of doing front opening cabinets, which you don't get as much space as you always hope you do, we decided to just do gas struts. So each of these bins is a different storage, but to do that you have to move some of the pillows. So I'm going to do that real quick. Under this bin we keep our big tub of dog food, tools, and then we do keep our wood burning stove cap that goes on the top of the RV in this as well, and then other miscellaneous dog stuff goes in here. And under the center one is really just like the bulk amount of our storage, so we keep like outdoor stuff like our pack rafts, our hiking backpacks, our Instant Pot and our air fryer down here. And then it also has access to some of the wiring for the exterior lights as well. But we utilized as much space as we possibly could in each of these containers. So it goes with the curve of the Airstream, and yeah, this is just like shoes, and I have an extra suitcase down here, or like travel bag. That wraps up all of the storage in the couch area, and we'll go ahead and move on to the kitchen. This was our favorite part of the build. It came a lot easier to us, and I think we built it like in a week, which was pretty impressive for us. We just wanted to make sure this one was as functional as it could be. The cabinetry in here is something that we drew a few different times and finally got it right with the height that we wanted, because we're both tall. So we wanted countertops that were like waist height for us. We'll start at the stove area. We decided to do some specific cabinetry for all the cutlery in here. This cabinet is not very organized right now, but we have a dedicated cabinet for dry food or fruits and oils and honey and stuff like that. When we first got on the road, it was organized, and now it's kind of just a mess. So you can kind of see in here, Tommy has a bunch of bags of cereal, our water pump is down here, and a fire extinguisher, hot water heaters back there, stainless steel cleaner, just things like that in here. This is our favorite idea that we came up with in the kitchen. Plates and bowls to have a dedicated space that wasn't going to just be a mess. So in our last build, where we kept our plates and bowls, you would open it after going on a dirt road and everything would fall out. And one of the top questions we get, since we're traveling full-time in this, is do these fall out? The answer is no. They are built literally like snug to the spot, which is really important to us. You'll notice in our build we don't have a lot of excess stuff in here. So when we get ready and hitch up and drive, we are not moving a bunch of stuff. Everything has a spot and stays in that spot. The bowls sit in a spot right there. They don't move because there is that hole cut out for it, and they're also behind this, so there's no way that they can pop out. Something else we've built in here is a 2-bottle wine rack that we don't have filled right now because we're not drinking wine. This one is our pots and pans drawer. We went back and forth on the size to do this. I wanted to do a lower, and Tommy fought for the larger one, and I'm glad he did because we fit quite a bit of stuff down here. Our blender's in there, we have pots and pans, salad bowls, mixing bowls, things like that. So this ended up being a really, really good storage for the kitchen. We did an undermount sink in this build, so we needed quite a bit of space for the actual sink to sit in here. And we also have it a little offset because the fridge has a vent section over there, so there's still airflow behind that thing, the fridge. And then just like in our other build, the trash can, we always like having a pull-out trash can, but in this one we did it quite big. So we have a recycling side and a trash bin side. And everything is on slow close, which we didn't have in our last build, and it makes such a big difference when we're traveling. This question that we get about like how do we keep cabinets closed and everything, these ones are on hinges that are slow close as well, so there is a bit of tension. They don't just open on their own. Same with these. I think slow close are really the way to go with cabinetry, even though they're a little more expensive. It can't fly out. So that's always nice. This is a 12-volt Dometic fridge. It's the CRX 140S. So a lot of people have asked us if this is a dishwasher. It's not a dishwasher. The handle is in the middle because you can choose which side to have the hinges on it. We needed our fridge to open this way. It's not very organized again, and it's obviously the thing that we use the most in the Airstream. This is, for us, the perfect size fridge. In our last build, we had a cooler style 12-volt fridge, and didn't really realize how much more stuff you can fit in these ones. This also has a freezer, I forgot. We love this fridge. And it's 12-volt, so it runs off of all of our solar, and it's on 24/7. I already mentioned that we have an undermount kitchen sink. This is definitely one of our favorite parts of the kitchen. It was one of the first things that we bought for the kitchen, so it set the tone for having black features in here. The faucet we really love. Our first RV build had a fixed faucet for the kitchen sink, and in this one we can actually clean everything and not have to struggle with that, so that's always nice. Highly recommend this faucet. All the products in the kitchen linked on our website, which we'll list below. Moving on to the stovetop, this is a Dometic 12-volt igniter 2-burner stovetop. We wanted everything in arm's reach, a little prep area here, plates at the ready so that we can just grab them there, or even better, not pulling out a drawer and still being able to grab plates. We just wanted this space to be really easy to work around and not have to move around a lot in the kitchen to cook meals. And then we added a magnetic knife strip, which we've seen a lot of people do, and we're always curious if they'd actually hold really well while traveling, and we love the knife strip. Nothing ever moves when we're traveling, and we go down bumpy roads all the time, so happy with this. One of our favorite things in the kitchen is our spice rack. We cut a hole in the wall and built this inset, which holds 15 spices, and it ended up matching our color scheme in here perfectly, which is really cool. We built this floating shelf for our cups and mugs, and everything is either plastic, metal, or recycled bamboo material, so if any of this were to fall, it won't break. But the mugs we just put down on the couch so they don't fall when we're on dirt roads. We added this light fixture as just a sconce in the kitchen. This space kind of felt empty, and we had a hole in the aluminum there, so it was kind of the perfect opportunity to run some 12-volt lighting there. This is from Lucent Light Shop. They make a bunch of really beautiful 12-volt lighting for RVs. We don't use this all the time, but it is just a nice lighting at night if we don't want the bright lights on the ceiling on. On the other side of the cabinetry in the kitchen, we have our control panel for the water pump, the sensors for the fresh water tank, the gray tank, and all the things like that. So I just mentioned how we try to have everything have its own place and not have to get moved a lot. We do have a few things in the kitchen that get moved, like obviously the salt and pepper shaker, our measuring cups. They just get put into the food storage area. But all of our plants in little pots that you see on countertops, those are all stationary. They don't move. They're held on with museum putty or museum gel, or I think sometimes it's called earthquake putty. That's a really good hack if you're trying to have like plants or anything that you just want to stay on countertops. Making our way towards the back of the Airstream, we'll stop here at our tiny wood stove. So these are specifically made for RVs, buses, van conversions, tiny homes, things like that. So it is very small. This is the smallest wood stove that company offers. We are using this just about every night and early each morning just to warm up the space. But the way that we designed this is that the cabinetry underneath will hold all of the wood for it, and there is actually an access door on the exterior of the Airstream so that we can load wood in from outside instead of bringing everything inside to do that. We had to run our flue in a pretty specific spot because of obstacles on the exterior. The awning outside runs about right here, and our AC unit topper outside is right here. So we had to run this in a spot where it wouldn't affect the awning or the AC unit. So it did come out a little further than we were hoping it did, but it's still not in the way. It's just a little closer to the walkway. We built these cubbies once we'd already purchased the baskets for the cubbies. So the size of each cubby is almost exactly the size of the basket specs. They go really far deep and they're tall baskets, so we can fit a lot of clothing in here. A common question we get asked about going with the baskets and cubbies for something that moves frequently is they have to all come spilling out, right? Like they fall out. They don't. So we, again, built them exactly to the size, so they are really snug inside of there. And when we do go to drive, we start pushing all of these in before we leave. So it's quite a deep space, and we have not had a basket fall out while traveling. If we did ever have an issue with that, there's a bunch of different ways that you could secure these with like magnets or hooks or other things like that. But so far this has been an amazing closet storage for us, and we just do the roll method. So everything in here should be rolled, and we do have a steamer in the Airstream for clothing in case something's really wrinkly. We can still get the wrinkles out of it, but that hasn't really been an issue yet. Something else we always try to do in tiny spaces is tons of counter space. I don't think people really realize how useful spaces like this are, but when we're kind of in transition of the day, clothing ends up here. It's often a standing desk for the laptop, other devices like our camera equipment, all of that. It's just a good landing space for that. That kind of wraps up everything in the hallway. You'll start to realize that we did everything very minimally. There's no upper cabinetry or anything like that. So it feels like we're breezing through the tour, but that's just the way that we designed this space. So now that we're done with the hallway, we'll go ahead and move on to the bathroom. The bathroom is a really small space. I think it'd be easier if I just held the camera and kind of gave you guys a spin around of what this space looks like. We have a towel rack over here for both of us. We did more baskets in the bathroom as our storage, and these ones are held in with a lip right there, so they can't come out when we're driving. So that's Tommy's basket for toiletries. That's my basket. There's a lot of like dog stuff down there, any first aid stuff, just bathroom stuff. It's really not that interesting. We added a full-length mirror in the bathroom. We also added a little round face mirror for brushing your teeth, getting ready for the day. I think that really makes a difference also. We decided to add a sink in the bathroom. It is a small space, but we both love brushing our teeth in here and not in the kitchen. And within this bathroom space, we didn't add a lot of cabinet doors because it just felt too small to do that. So we have one cabinet door in here for the plumbing for the sink and the faucet, and that's also where we store our vacuum cleaner, the attachments for the vacuum cleaner, toilet paper, hair products, shampoo, things like that. This is actually a false cabinet door. We have a wheel well under here, so there really couldn't be a lot of storage under there. You can kind of see here, that's the wheel well, and then this is just like magazine storage and things like that. Let's talk about the toilet. We decided to go with a compost toilet in this build. So we decided to go with a compost toilet for a few different reasons. Originally, we had a traditional RV toilet that was going to be installed in this Airstream, and we went through the whole process of trying to figure out how to add a black tank where we needed it in this build, and we couldn't figure that out. And we had never traveled with a compost toilet, but we know a lot of people that do, and we've only heard great things, so we decided to just go ahead and try it out. So we moved into the Airstream in August, and we've been using this compost toilet ever since, and it's been amazing. We were some of the people that just didn't believe that they didn't stink and all of that. The worst part about the compost toilet is the place that collects all of your number ones. It always smells worse than the actual part that you're going number 2 in. So we really like the compost toilet. I think that everybody should try it out at least once and see if it's for you, because it's changed the way that we camp, because we normally camp and boondock or like dispersed camp or camp on public land. So we're not at RV parks hooked up to like the dump, the sewer connect, all of that. So this is definitely a better way to have a toilet if you camp like us. We'll move on to the shower. Okay, so the shower takes up quite a bit of room on the opposite side of the bathroom. We decided to do a full-sized shower in here. So we do have a shower curtain for the shower. It's just not installed yet. We've actually showered in here without the shower curtain, and that worked out fine, but we do have it. The shower curtain's actually right there. We just haven't installed all of the clips. So there's going to be button snaps that run down the ceiling like this. That'll be up soon. We installed a Nebia shower head in the Airstream. These are really awesome at saving water, so we aren't running through a bunch of water using this. And this, I believe, is a Delta faucet. We frosted out this bathroom window. Not sure if we liked that at the beginning, but it's been really, really nice living in here full time and not having to worry about closing a curtain or anything. The other two things in here that we really like are the 2 windows. So these are just to carry light through from the kitchen area into the bathroom and vice versa. And then also this window does the same for the bedroom. The way that we built it, the bathroom took one of the windows that was in the Airstream, and we just didn't want to lose any of the light that could be passing through. And we did the same thing with the door. So we just wanted to make sure light could still pass and it wouldn't be super dark inside or outside of where that window would normally be shining light through. So that wraps up everything about the bathroom. Such a small space, but it actually turned out way better than we were expecting it to. And we fit a lot of stuff in here. It might be one of the biggest bathrooms we've seen in an Airstream this size. So this is a 23-foot Airstream, and we have just about a full-size bathroom in here. We're moving on to the bedroom. Moving on to our bedroom area, I think that this is something that depends on each person building out a space like this. Some people really want space on each side of the bed, so they'll do the bed long ways in the space. A small Airstream, it's not the really big ones that are like 30 plus feet. So we didn't have a ton of space to have the biggest bed possible and have a nice sized bathroom and have a nice sized kitchen. So something had to give a little there. Our mattress is from Mattress Insider. It is a custom mattress to fit the curves of the Airstream. It is a queen, but it's longer than a queen normally is. It's a smaller bed for an Airstream, but it is not a small bed. Come on. So you can kind of see here, I'm 5'8", and I have tons of foot room on the curved side. Tommy's 6'2", and he has more than enough room on this side, which is what side he sleeps on. Again, we try to keep everything in this Airstream pretty minimal, so there's like no shelves in here, we don't have anything on the walls really, but we did add an accent wall on this wall of the Airstream, even though most people won't see it. This is the artwork in our bedroom, which we really enjoy. These are decals from Urban Walls. They were very easy to put up, and they're not permanent, so if we ever want to change those, we can. It just adds a little pizzazz to the bedroom. And one of the reasons we have this wall completely blank and white is because we have a projector up onto this wall, so we watch movies and TV shows and everything like that up there. So that is all that there is to show about the bedroom. There's really not that much to show back here, but the most important part about the bedroom is actually underneath this. So I'm gonna go ahead and raise the bed and show you guys what's under there. I'm not gonna walk you guys through our complete battery and solar setup. I'm just gonna show you what we have installed underneath the bed. And if you want to learn more about our solar setup and battery setup, you can go to our episode where we did the full install and we talk about all the different odds and ends that are in our build. So going under the bed, we have all of our Victron components. This is our 3000 watt multi-plus inverter charger, our MPPT charge controller, our on-off switch for our solar array. We have a Victron monitor for our batteries. The Lynx distributor over there. Our 12-volt distribution panel is down there. And this is our 6 100 amp hour Battleborn batteries. We built a little box for them. So this entire setup right here is right as close as it could be to our second axle. So we aren't very far back, and this didn't add a ton of weight. I think the entire setup is about 300 pounds. So that's what's under our bed. I'm gonna go ahead and put it back down, and then we'll talk about how many watts of solar we have on our roof to pair with this electrical system. I mentioned earlier in this video that we primarily camp on public land, or some people call it dispersed camping or even boondocking. So we are very rarely connected to a power source like shore power at a campground. So with our 6 100 amp hour Battleborn batteries and our 6 100 watt solar panels on the roof, we're able to power everything we need, from 12 volt appliances to 120 volt appliances. Just maintaining what we're using while on a daily basis has worked out perfectly for us. And before I wrap up the tour, I'm just going to quickly go over what we did for our DIY curtains, because that seems to be a very popular question on our Instagram and some of the Airstream groups we are in on Facebook. So we made these ourselves. They are just pretty simple on snaps that I made on leather straps. They roll down, and I've connected buttons, and you just snap them closed. Almost every window uses that method, except for the 2 side wing windows, which have inserts that we stick in, and the back window also has an insert that we stick in from the outside. We just wanted something super simple, basic, and I bought the fabric from a Target blackout curtain that was already assembled, and I cut them up into the sizes that I needed and re-sewed them and made them into these ones. The wooden dowel from Home Depot runs through the top. These are actually conduit clamps from the electrical section that are painted black and riveted in. And then the bottom part of the curtain has a flat piece of trim that gives it a little weight to hang down. We just tried to do it obviously as simple as possible. We moved into the Airstream before we had them, so we were just like, let's get it done, let's go, and let's not spend hundreds of dollars on curtains. Well, that wraps up our 1973 Airstream renovation. If I didn't say it in the beginning, this is a 23-foot Land Yacht Safari Airstream. It's a tandem axle, and if you were not around for our entire Airstream renovation series, feel free to check out those videos where we show the entire process of bringing this Airstream back to life. And stick around because we are going to start filming some of our travels in the Airstream, which we've never done on YouTube. We've always shared on Instagram or TikTok. Very excited to share this part of our life with you guys, and thanks so much for watching. We're trying to figure it out. Basically, back bedroom, couch in the front, big kitchen, side bathroom, wood burning stove, closet somewhere over here,